Right, folks, welcome back. Here we have the euro dollar weekly time frame in front of us, and I'm doing the weekly outlooks for Forex. So this is the euro dollar and the pound dollar, so EU and GU, right? So these seem to be quite popular videos on the channel, and I hope to do these every week and even twice a week. So during the week, I'm going to upload a mid Forex outlook. So for those who are interested, feel free to subscribe and share these. These will be free resources for everyone to use and get involved with. So until then, let's just get started on the video, right? So what we have over here, this is a weekly time frame. And just to expand out, so for people who haven't followed, what we have over here is we have price currently trading between this structural high and this structural low. So everything here essentially is within a dealing range. So it's important to understand that our dealing range consists of what we call an equilibrium over here. So this is the 50% level, otherwise known as the equilibrium, right? And what this represents is the fact that we have premium above and discount below. Okay, so if we zoom into the charts right now and dive into price, what we had over here is we had price creep into the discount, sorry, the premium up here. So we had a premium high over here, which, as you can see, didn't really follow through. We had an unsuccessful follow through, and now we're just ranging in and around the equilibrium area. So as it stands right now on the euro dollar, we have two weak structural points, right? We have a weak high up here. So this is a potential drawn liquidity, right? Going into the next month or next future months, right? This is a weekly drawn liquidity up here. But we also have a weekly draw of liquidity down here as well. Okay, this is based off the fact that we could see price do something like this. We could see price rally higher, heading up to number one, sweep this weak high up here, but head up to more premium fair value gaps before potentially reacting bearish. Or we could see price come further along down, tap into perhaps a fair value gap down here before heading higher as well. So the fair value gaps would be down here as well in this particular region. So this is the two potential outlooks as to how we could be looking at the euro dollar going into the next week. Now, it's important to stress that this is a very higher time frame. So for price to get down, here or for price to get up here, it would take time, and we need to appreciate that we need to use the lower time frames, i.e. the daily and the 4 hour, to better navigate ourselves on this particular pair. So now if we go down to the daily time frame, what does the daily time frame dissect to us? Well, the daily time frame is a very powerful time frame that utilizes concepts such as structure, PD arrays, and premium and discount arrays. So let's see how we're doing that. So as you can see to the left of your screen, we have price giving us a series of structural highs and lows and highs and lows and highs. Now this high over here broke structure to the downside, creating a low. So already you need to ask yourself, what do we see on the charts just from this particular information? So from this particular information, just on the charts, we see two potential areas of interest. Again, we have a weak high up here, the daily drawn liquidity. So you have to ask yourself, why is this high a drawn liquidity? Well, the reason why is because we haven't seen it make a new low. So it's currently a weak high in the markets, right? So this is a weak high, and it's a weak high because it hasn't produced a new low, right? So prices attempted to drive down, and as it stands, we saw a rally to the upside, and since then we see price now pushing downwards, but as it stands, this is a weak high. Now the next drawn liquidity, very similar to the weekly time frame, is that we have a weak low down here. Now what makes this a weak low? Well, it's quite simple, right? We saw price push higher from this point, but we haven't actually seen it successfully go on to break and make all-time new, well, not all-time highs, but we haven't seen it break the last structural high, which is up here. And so because of that, we have two potential draws on liquidity, right? We have this high up here as a potential draw, and we have this low down here, which is a potential draw. So from here, what's the overall outlooks on euro dollar? Where do I think price is likely to head to next? Well, good question. That's why everyone's here. So let's bring to people's attention, right? So what we have over here, anything beneath the 50% level is a discount. So we have discount pricing over here. And what we have over here is we have a fair value gap in and around this region. So this here is an inefficiency in price, okay, labeled in blue. So when we see an inefficiency, right, that often then leads to our POI. So we had a bullish POI over here in the discount, which price reacted to, right? So now that we've seen price react in this way, right, we saw a reaction in and around this in and around this area. So this here gave us our reaction. But as you can see, as it stands currently, this reaction is failing, right? So what I expect going into the next week is something like this. We can reasonably expect bearish prices to sweep this low over here. So I expect this low over here to be taken potentially, right? And where are we going to be targeting next? Well, the next fair value gap we have, the next POI we have is just over here like this, okay? This is the next daily POI, right? Why is it POI? Because it leaves a daily fair value gap. So this is the next daily POI. And what we see over here to the left of your screen is that we see a fair value gap just over here. So this is a fair value gap that price has left, right? And so from here, we could reasonably anticipate price to get down to at least this level over here, right? So if we continue to see the bearish activity that we've been seeing this week, because we had a bearish activity post FOMC. So if we continue to see bears in control, we could very much get down to this POI, which is currently at the price point of 1.058. So this could be an extreme possibility, an extremely likely possibility considering where we are in price right now. So a quick rundown is we have two weak structural highs and lows. So we have a weak structural high up here and we have a structural low weak down here, right? So what I expect is if the bearishness continues, we expect price to come down to here before potential bullish reaction. But this is yet to be seen. This here is yet to be seen. As of right now, if we just go down to one more time frame, i.e. the 4-hour time frame, let's see how prices behave now. Right, so the first thing I want to bring to people's attention is that we have a flip zone over here, a supply to demand flip zone. So what we had over here is we had a supply zone over here. So this supply zone over here, right? This supply zone over here. Essentially, oh, if I put it to the right color, this supply zone over here gave a demand zone just over here like this, right? So here we see a demand zone over here. So quickly to go over this, how have I determined this flip zone over here? Well, it's quite simple. This was a supply zone that drove price lower, and now since then we've seen price come up, we've seen price react off the zone and then fail. So this is essentially the flip from supply to demand, right? So now that we've come back into this demand zone, from here, if this demand zone breaks, right, which it could do, if this demand zone breaks, I do expect lower prices down to at least this region over here, this daily region over here, right? This daily region over here. So this is my overall outlooks on the euro dollar. Now going to the next most popular pair, which is the pound dollar. If we start on the weekly time frame again, the weekly time frame paints quite a similar picture to that of the euro dollar, as you'd expect. So what we have over here is we have two draws on liquidity. We have a weekly weak high over here, and we have that weak low down here as well. So we've got two simple draws on liquidity, right? So we could see price do this, or we could see price do this, because we have two draws on liquidity to potentially target. Something to note as well that we do have a fair value gap in the discount area as well. So we have a fair value gap over here. This is a weekly fair value gap, which price could look to target at a later date as well. So this is currently how I'm looking at the weekly time frame on GBP USD. So if we go down to one more time frame, we can begin to dissect the daily time frame and see where price could go from here. So we need to understand that structurally we are bullish on this particular time frame. So we're currently dealing between this swing low up to this swing high. So we've had a retracement into the discount, being this is the 50% level. So anything below that is of course discount. And so since then we've seen price rally up, making this a weak high over here. Hence why it is a draw on liquidity. Okay. So now from here, there's two potential scenarios, right? Price can either go up or it can go down. The GBP USD chart for me is slightly less decisive, I'll be honest. I can't really give a very strong indication as to where I think price could go. The only thing I can do is point certain levels to you, which you should be aware of. Okay, so what we have over here is we have a daily discounted POI just over here. So we have a daily discounted POI over here. So again, price could look to seek liquidity down here. I'm not saying price will go all the way down here, but it's a potential because we have some liquidity over here to sweep before continuing higher. The 4-hour time frame again doesn't paint the clearest picture in price, in my opinion. So what we've had over here is we've had price break out of this horrible range that we were in for quite a while, and we've seen price break to the upside. Now from here, there are no clear inefficiencies in and around this region, right? So will price hold from this discount? I'm not really sure. I can't really say. The only thing I would say is if we do see price hold and eventually give us that higher prices, right? Where do I expect price to go? I would expect price to target that the daily week high up here, the daily draw on liquidity up here. But but it's important to keep open to both sides of the market. So if we do see price break this H4 low, this 4-hour low, then we have inefficiencies below to target, right? So this is currently how I'm looking at the GBP USD market, and this is currently how I'm looking at the Euro USD market, right? So we're not the clearest when it comes to price action, but we understand we have our levels and we have our draws on liquidity and we have things like fair value gaps and inefficiencies to target, right? Fair value gaps, inefficiencies, same thing. So liquidity, structural points, premium discount, inefficiencies, these are all basic things that you need to be using in your trading in order to enhance your ability to find those higher time frame directional biases, which then of course aids your trading, right? So this is something I'm going to be doing more often during the week. Every week I'll be trying to upload some new outlook so people can get used to the way that I trade and how you can build your own bias correctly using the basics of SMC and ICT. Let me know what other markets that you're interested in that you want me to put. So I know GBP AUD is an example, and I will be going over that as well. But until then, I wish all of you the best in your trading and take care.